Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of AndrewsFootball.com, and if you're asking yourself, hey, didn't I just get a video yesterday? Is this Christmas? No, it's better than Christmas. It's back-to-back episodes of AndrewsFootball.com coming right at you. And what I decided I was going to do is that the way the NFL schedule works is that Week 17 is all divisional rivalry games. You're going to have a lot of playoff battles. You're going to have a few divisional battles for that last week of the year. This is something the NFL did to promote ratings. And it's brilliant, by the way. I mean, I'm actually surprised they didn't do this sooner, but it's something they've been doing over the last several years. Now, this is week 14, so with 4 weeks left, you're going to see a lot more divisional rivalry games. So instead of breaking down all the games, I decided I'm going to break down the 4 games in my last video that you should put action on. And I decided I was going to make 2 more videos this week about other games that have playoff ramifications. So what I decided was that there's 5 games this week that are divisional rivalry games. Now, Thursday Night Football obviously is one of them. And before I go any further, this dropped all the way from 1.5 to a pick 'em. So if you're watching this before Thursday Night Football, jump on the Saints. If I had $500 and I was in Vegas, I would put $200 on this game and then $100 on the other 3 games I brought up, because I really think the Saints are going to win this game. And if you can get a pick 'em, go ahead and take full advantage of it and take the Saints. No points, just even up. The other 4 divisional games I'm going to talk about, starting off with, I'm a little hesitant here because the first game I'm going to bring up is my own Kansas City Chiefs. Now, as a Chiefs fan, this is like a nightmare, but as a football fan, this is very exciting football, because a few weeks ago, the Kansas City Chiefs had this division wrapped up. This was a lock. They're going to the playoffs. It's just a question of, can anybody from the AFC West get into a wild card? It didn't look like it. Now you got 3 teams that are all 6-6. Are all going to play each other throughout the next 4 weeks. The Raiders and the Chargers actually play each other at the very last week of the season. So there's who knows who's going to win this division, but I think it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. The reason why is that they play both the Chargers and the Raiders at Arrowhead in December, so give them the advantage. Spoiler alert, I'm picking Kansas City in 4 points. Now, here's the thing. Let's say you're watching this video and you're like, Dan, you're too much of a homer. You know, of course you're going to pick the Chiefs. Of course you're going to be there, but they've been playing bad. They don't ever bet. Okay, I get that. I understand. Now, if you think the Raiders are going to win this game, here's the advantage that the money line's 175 for the Raiders. Meaning that if you take a $100 wager and you bet on the Raiders to win straight up, you would win $175. So here's how I would bet this game. I would take the Chiefs in 4. The over-under is 47.5, and even though the weather report looks nice, I would really leave that alone. I know the score was 31-30 last time, but this could be 10-7. It could be 42-38. I don't think there's enough evidence. Even though I know the defenses are bad, the Chiefs' defense has been known to play well, and the Raiders' defense a lot of times does get up for the Kansas City Chiefs. I would avoid the over-under, but I definitely like the over more than I like the under. But I would do one of 2 things. Take Kansas City in 4 points, or take the Raiders to win straight out. I, of course, like the Kansas City Chiefs. This is going to be a great game. The big news is that the Chargers are going to play afterwards. They're playing at home against a Washington team that's kind of beat up. I do like them to win that game. So the winner is going to be tied with the Chargers, most likely. The loser is going to be 1 game behind. Now, if Kansas City loses this game, of course, they're going to be able to play the Chargers next week in Arrowhead, where, you know, the Chargers will play the Raiders at the very last week of the season. So it's a very exciting AFC West season. As a Chiefs fan, I'm miserable, but as a football fanatic, it's good theater. It really is. The next game is, I don't know how to pick this one. It's the New York Giants are at home. They're a 4-point underdog at home to the Dallas Cowboys. The problem is that the general manager and head coach have been fired. Steve Spagnuolo is taking over as head coach. And how's that going to work? Well, basically, he's on a 4-week audition. But being that they promoted Ben McAdoo from offensive coordinator to head coach, and then he tanked, I have a hard time believing that he's really going to get a fair opportunity to be the head coach. But how is this going to react for this game? Because it's at home versus a divisional rivalry, divisional rival like the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a little banged up themselves, especially along the offensive line. They of course saw Ezekiel Elliott, but Alfred Morris played really, really well last week. I thought he really surprised me, running with a lot of power. Plus, they're a little rested up. The Giants are coming from the West Coast to the East Coast. So, how would I bet this game? I don't know. I actually like Dallas to cover 4 points. Normally, I don't like taking a road favorite in a game like this where the Giants, are going to be really motivated to play. And I think these two teams match up against each other really well. But I do like Dallas to cover in this game. I think Dallas is really still fighting for a wild card spot, because if they can get into the playoffs with Ezekiel Elliott on several weeks of rest, that's a dangerous team. That's a really dangerous team. But hindsight, let's say you'd like the Giants to win this game, the money line's 185. That's not a bad investment. Risking 100 to win 185 on a game that's I think is a coin flip, that's not bad. But if you have to ask me, who am I picking? I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys in 4 points. The next game I got, and this is a fun one, being Baltimore's my hometown, but the Baltimore Ravens are traveling to Pittsburgh. They're a 5-point underdog in this game. And this is a tough one because the Baltimore Ravens have been playing some really, really good football lately. They've been with Alex Collins. They've been running the ball a little better. They got some talent at receiver, just haven't really matched. The thing that makes this game tough is that the Ravens have a better defense. Sure, I could take the easy way, but here's what I would do. The money line's 200 on this game. I think Baltimore's going to win. Why is Baltimore going to win, Dan? Homer City, you picked the Chiefs, now you're going to pick your own team. Well, let me explain. Next week, Pittsburgh plays New England. One thing I've noticed about the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have a tendency to kind of go up and down. This is a game I could see them losing and then getting really amped up to play New England next week. So, here's how I bet this game. I take that 100. I'm betting on the Ravens to win because I think that's what's going to happen. So, stay tuned. We'll find out what's going on. So, it's going to be an exciting week of football. And last but not least, actually, that is not even close to correct because this is the worst divisional rivalry game of the week, and that's the New England Patriots are going down to Miami. They're an 11-point favorite. And if you followed AndrewFootball.com, I told you a couple weeks ago, take New England this week, but when they go down to Miami, take Miami. Well, I'm changing that around because I think Miami is kind of looking at themselves and saying, hey, when's the season going to end? Because, do they really think they're going to make the playoffs? The answer is no. The only question about this game is New England will cover. I think they are. So, and then that brings up next week where you have New England on Monday night, 1 day short of rest, playing Pittsburgh. The game's in Pittsburgh, so that's going to be a really exciting game. So, and that's going to be for the overall #1 seed in the AFC. So stay tuned while I break down that game next week. So if you haven't already, there's a little subscribe button underneath the video. Bam! Hit that button. Become one of the best people on earth, one of my subscribers. And if you already are a subscriber, you know how awesome you are. So thank you very much for subscribing. And until next time.